This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by the folks over at Kova Software, makers of the popular Kova point of sales system, now powering more than 20,000 retail locations spread out all around North America. The reason so many shops trust Kova Software to power their stores is that Kova creates their systems to be virtually mistake-proof, which means that you won't be knocked out of compliance just because of some simple user error by you or one of your bud tenders. Kova's point-of-sale system is accessible through a mobile dashboard with real-time store performance and reports, so owners and managers can easily stay on top of how things are going throughout the day, even when they have to step away from the shop. Harness those benefits for your retail, adult use, or medical marijuana dispensary by opening up kovasoftware.com/demo, where you can schedule a demonstration of their system for yourself. That's kovasoftware.com/demo, with Kova spelled C-O-V-A. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Tuesday, May 15th, 2018, and you're tuned in to episode 490 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Our top story this terrific Tuesday is a piece by our friend Tom Angel over at Marijuana Moments, who beautifully parses the recent news that the U.S. Supreme Court ruled to overturn a ban on online sports gambling, a case that has positive implications for state legal cannabis. This is a detailed, dense story best read in full, so I'd direct you over to Marijuana Moments. But in short, if the Supreme Court had ruled the other way in yesterday's Murphy vs. NCAA case, state legal cannabis could have faced some legal challenges due to the conflict between state and federal law. Thankfully, that didn't happen. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com and on our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily. According to reporting by the New York Post, the New York State Democratic Party will officially pass a resolution at its convention next week calling for the legalization of marijuana in both adult use and medical form. The Post got a copy of an internal planning document that shows that the New York Democrats think marijuana legalization could be a popular issue with voters, with all caps text reading, quote, "want to highlight this," unquote. The announcement will come right around the same time New York Democratic Governor Andrew Cuomo plans on releasing a report looking at the logistics, costs, and benefits of full legalization in the state. New York currently has a relatively limited medical marijuana system characterized by its handful of licensed providers, which are losing money every year while looking ahead to greener markets. This should be good news for those companies, for New York consumers and patients, and for the East Coast as a whole. There are a lot of people in New York and even more living within a close drive of its borders. Finishing off today's top three headlines brings us up north to Canada, where two of the country's larger licensed medical marijuana companies have announced plans to merge. Aurora Cannabis says it will pay just under $3 billion Canadian or $2.2 billion US in stock for med relief. Once the company is complete, the newly merged entity will have a cultivation capacity of 1.26 million pounds of cannabis per year over its 9 Canadian facilities and 2 in Denmark. Aurora Cannabis's CEO Terry Booth told reporters that his company was only just getting started buying up competitors, hinting at other smaller deals soon to be announced in coming weeks. Another good story to read in full. There's a lot of interesting things going on up north. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz it in headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, Kova Software, makers of the popular Kova point of sales system, now powering more than 20,000 retail locations spread out all around North America. Kova's retail customers appreciate a lot of things about Kova's point of sales system, but probably none so more than just how easy and automated it makes doing business. Our industry is an especially regulated one, and when you're using Kova's point of sale system, you'll rest easy knowing that all relevant rules and regulations for your local areas are automatically updated into their system. So besides the easy things like automatic sales tax calculations, you'll also be in the clear when it comes to ID verification, inventory tracking, and audit management. You have enough things to worry about and to get right when you're running a legal marijuana business. Let Kova Software handle all the things they're good that for you, which you can learn more about over at covasoftware.com/demo, with Cova spelled C-O-V-A. That's covasoftware.com/demo. Make sure to let them know that you heard about them here on Marijuana Today Daily. Big thanks to everyone over at Cova Software for all the support. Oh, and don't forget, if you sign up for Cova's point of sales system during the month of May, you'll also get 6 months of free digital signage or touchscreen menus. One last time, that's covasoftware.com/demo. All right, time for the Blitz. The New York Times has an incredibly well-crafted long-form expose up looking at arrest rates for marijuana crimes in New York City as they relate to race. This storyline has popped up in recent months as data about cannabis-related arrests in New York City have showed a higher percentage of non-white offenders being arrested for simple possession charges than whites. Police initially defended the numbers by claiming that non-white parts of the city made more calls to police about cannabis crimes, but the New York Times story pretty much shreds that defense. Open this one up, read it, share it, know the issue. Keeping our sights pegged to New York City for a headline as well as within the pages of the New York Times, we have a good marijuana headline about 2 district attorneys who say they plan on no longer prosecuting people for small-time marijuana possession charges. The offices of the district attorneys for Manhattan and Brooklyn say they are working out the particulars, but that they plan on scaling back prosecutions substantially through policy changes. This story is tied in spirit to our previous one, so also a pretty good one to have in your mental banks. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey signed a bill into law yesterday legalizing the cultivation and processing of industrial hemp. The state's Department of Agriculture will certify farmers to grow hemp, which has to contain less than 0.3% of THC and be grown from authorized seed stock. The legislation authorizes $500,000 in startup funds for the office that will oversee the industry, so we should expect to see some kind of actual cultivation taking place sometime next year. Yesterday, Pennsylvania authorities announced that 8 in-state universities would be granted permission to study medical marijuana on an academic level. The 8 schools named, which you can find listed over at Marijuana Business Daily, will partner up with a Pennsylvania licensed cannabis company who will be allowed to sell marijuana raised by the schools as part of their work studying the efficacy of medical marijuana in treating a number of conditions. This is a unique deal for the industry that will be likely studied by other states. Marijuana edibles and products company Dixie Elixir, founded and headquartered in Colorado, just announced a deal with Canadian company Cannabis to license a number of their brands and formulations for use in Canada and Mexico. Since international marijuana commerce is still barred within the United States, licensing deals like this one offer American companies like Dixie a way to branch out internationally. The deal covers more than 100 products, lasts 10 years, and offers Cannabis the exclusive rights to distribute both within Canada and Mexico. Another good model to study. Multi-state cannabis company iAnthus Capital just secured a $50 million investment from Gotham Green Partners, which it will deploy to pay down debt, expand operations in New York and Florida, and to fuel expansions into other markets. Swing over to New Cannabis Ventures for the rest of the numbers and details on this one. And finally for today, Marijuana Business Daily has a great chart of the week that puts the current and total size of the American legal and adult use marijuana markets into perspective. Right now, legal cannabis pulls in around $6 billion in sales in the United States, with the overall adult use market thought to be worth around $50 billion. Marijuana Business Daily's chart places those two numbers against other markets like beer, worth $111 billion, Netflix at $6.6 billion, and Oreos, which sells just $700 million worth of cookies per year. Actually, that's a lot of cookies. Perspective and context is good. Click over to the chart to get some. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all of the news we cover. Why was the man staring at the can of orange juice? Because it said concentrate. Thanks to our sponsor, Kova Software, and to all of our awesome patron listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the patron listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with Marijuana Today. Today.
One take, Shay. One take.